Sup, collective? It's Kai. Anima, Animus. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. Anima. The feminine energy within the masculine. Animus, the masculine energy within the feminine. I'm spectrosexual, pronouns she, they. I identify as the feminine entity. Do what you may with that information. Also, with the previous information, it is not to define things within genders. I'm just describing the energy. Okay? So, disclaimer, once again, this is all based on my own experience, my own perspective. Please use your own discernment. What I think works best for me, what I think, whatever I perceive, may not be something that you agree with, and that is completely fine. So, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I was really recognizing that there is definitely a very tough spot in me. And ironically, that has to do with the most lightest and most maybe even just fragile parts of myself as well. And I was reading this article that I get sent in a newsletter, and it was just me reading about the feminine and masculine energy. Literally, I did a reading today about that. And I was like, of course, love you, spirituality, love you, universe. But I love it when there's synchronicities like this, because truly it really helps me kind of connect things, because everything's connected. But once again, with all due respect, as someone who practices within spirituality, as much as there is the scientific aspects of this, I was watching this video on Instagram about how one can truly release a lot by just experiencing your emotions, not trying to intellectualize and just feel it. And then I think the biggest thing was that I didn't know what to do after that necessarily, right? In a sense, I did actually do it without even knowing, but at the same time, having someone say this verbally was really actually nice, because what they said was, fill your heart after experiencing your emotion, being in your heart chakra. Fill your heart with love and joyful experiences and pretty much positive energy. And I was like, you know what, bro? I was not fucking doing that. I was not going from hard to soft, and I was not going from soft to hard. Well, in some senses, I was going from soft to hard. And this definitely had to do with a lot of my past experiences these last few months. Last year, from fucking April, bro. Literally April or May. It's around that time. That was when really things started to fucking start. The ball was rolling, bro. And it fucking it was a snowball effect, truly. And it crashed at the bottom of the freaking hill and caused a freaking avalanche because of the noise. So that's what it felt like, at least for me. Okay. That was probably not the reality for people involved in this situation. But I wanted to talk about this because we all have feminine and masculine energy within us. And I just believe that myself. I have been really understanding that this has a really deep correlation with my sexuality, being spectrosexual, as much as my actual not just desires, but what feels right. And I was recognizing that there was a past video, I don't know which one, but I said where if you desire it, just go after it. And then now in hindsight, I'm it's not about following your desires, it's about following your feelings. And that requires some form of self-control, because then you can very much become reactive. And I'm not saying you. I mean, it's a possibility. And that's something that I witnessed within my own experience, was that by following just my desires, I genuinely wasn't seeing things clearly, because I was filling myself up with all of this exhilaration. It's like a drug, truly, clouds my judgment, and I'm not seeing things clearly or appreciating things within the presence of experiencing that emotion, that emotional experience. And even, I think the biggest thing though was that there were definitely times where I was just in my emotions and then I pursued my desires with pure intentions, right? It was more so thereafter, where even when I would get into my head, or my head was filled with thoughts from my ego because of that experience happening or have happened already. Why does that sound so fucking weird? It had happened. It had happened already, and my ego is starting to replay these things in my head, kind of fearful of like, oh, is this going to happen? Is this person going to deny me access to express this part of myself around them? And then there's also the aspects of that is truly what vulnerability is you bare your heart out, and if they want to swat it away, drop it, ignore the shit out of it, like whatever the fuck it is, how they respond, it truly doesn't define what I was feeling. But I was in my head, right? And this thoughts was coming into mind, and I was like, that past experience was so good. Even those good aspects of like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen again. Not the case, because nothing is truly ever the same, because things are constantly changing. That is the one thing that is true. And that really actually gives me a lot of faith, and it really brings me forth into this presence where I'm like, like I genuinely feel like sometimes when I'm with just myself, I'm like, wow, I'm just doing the same shit that I'd be doing, right? And like it's kind of like the mundane things. And one of the most important things in spirituality is understanding that being bored and like having nothing to do is truly where you can tap in even deeper. And that's the pure presence that you need in order to like have that kind of ability to remain resonant with yourself. Remain resonant with yourself. You know what I mean? So I just shook the whole table. I wanted to talk about these aspects of this experience because I really felt that. I really felt like a lot of hard parts within me became soft. And then I was reading another part of this article that was talking about the shadow aspect, integrating your shadow. That is all of the traits, all of the things, the ways of being that were natural and expressive from you as a child that was rejected, denied, made fun of, I don't know, belittled. Just pretty much parts of yourself that were hidden because it wasn't accepted. And one part of me that it was, to just kind of share, was that kind of like cute soft side. And I'm middle child, but I have a younger sister and older brother. So I got to experience both worlds of being a younger sibling, but also being an older sibling, and how that kind of conflicted, because it's also like I didn't grow up with that family dynamic where we like took care of each other necessarily in a like warm way, I guess. It was, or that was just the way that I took it, at least, right? Like it wasn't like very like huggy or complimenting or just appreciating and being grateful. And I'm being so fucking for real. Like that, yeah. Like for example, if my family would bring that up, I'd be like, no, no, bro. When? Tell me when. Anyways, but genuinely, I was recognizing like, wow, that's so fucking ironic, and it's such a satirical thing, because I'm like, wow, like literally, my shadow aspect, one of my shadow aspects that I've been integrating is literally this soft ass, cute, vulnerable, fragile part of me, and it's definitely correlated with my Capricorn moon heart. So like, the moon placement in astrology, like your natal chart, will tell you how you process your emotions, and like those ways of being didn't come natural to me already. I'm a Capricorn moon, okay? Like there is definitely a fucking hard stereotype that we don't like vulnerability, but it's because is because we get hurt. Yeah, like we don't like getting hurt, and it's fucking like I do feel like Capricorns have this energy of like dealing with pride because they like to do things consistently and build things and have that stable like stability to like pretty much have success, whatever success may be like deemed in their own minds. So this all was just coming full circle. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like even when I'm like actively still learning and still implementing certain things, like I was doing that practice that I mentioned in my short, that I brought my experience from my head into my heart and I just experienced my emotions instead of like not like avoiding it, but trying to identify it. And then I started to fill myself up with like love and joyful experiences and memories, but also just imagining and being creative about what I truly like align with in this present moment as this version of myself. And so yeah, like I wanted to talk about that because it was just really cool that I literally did a reading, and I don't know, it's just so funny because there's so many times where I'm like, bruh, I don't even want to say it because of how OP it is in terms of like, I went on this whole ass journey for years within like the spiritual practices and stuff. And like, I still face moments of like questionability within myself. And so that is like kind of like a moment of like questioning my faith type trope. So it's really interesting because I love to like learn things, and science isn't like spirituality doesn't negate science. It actually is equivalent to science. Like it makes sense. And for many people that might not be something that they agree with. But despite that, I do find a lot of not only joy and fulfillment learning about science, like metaphysics, like also quantum physics and things like that, and philosophical things as well. So like ways of thinking and how we can continue to expand these things because it truly is a mere fact that everything is connected in my perspective. Oh, I should be a little careful saying that. So in my perspective, I believe that everything's like connected, like we are one. There is a moment to also identify and acknowledge your own individual experience because you're the one who gets to live your being in this very moment. So no one else can actually acknowledge it for its own experience as it is. It's just when we share these things, that's when we can truly like connect with people. So for me, it was like, I definitely understood this definitely had to do with my past relationship. Like that was like 5 years ago. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, that's crazy. Dude, okay, anyways, that was a period of time in my life where I definitely was very like soft and or a lot softer because I was just more pure and innocent, maybe even naive because of being younger and less matured. And so I just really recognized like that was definitely a core part of me within that relationship. And therefore, after we broke up, it affected me in a way where I started to conceal that part of myself. And growing up, even like if I cried, show that kind of vulnerability, I would be literally like made fun of, severely like bullied from my own family members. And I know it's like, oh, family does that, but truly, people to people, that's so fucking annoying. Like, bruh, just let them cry. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, truly. Anyways, and I say this literally just as someone who just, like, sometimes if I'm walking, like, literally, yesterday, actually, I was on a walk and I just felt tears in my eyes. And I like to let myself cry, but I do also recognize, like, sometimes I ask a question of, like, are these tears that I'm forcing myself to cry right now just to release? Oh gosh. But yeah, I recognize that that soft part became very hard. And then it's this slow softening from meeting a person that really awakened evoked a feeling that I honestly hadn't felt since my ex. And so that's what really shook me. I was shooketh because what the fuck? That's crazy. As much as it was very new. It was very new because it's not the same person. I'm not the same person. And it's really interesting because during this period of time when I was like interacting with this person and felt like not only energetically but like physically, like we saw each other, stuff like that, like I recognize that it's this level of softening where I experience in the past 2 years I've been experiencing a lot of physical trauma, and the trauma that was withheld in this being was very just new. I didn't know how to navigate it because I'd never been attacked like that before. I'd never grieved someone so deeply. Like truly, I've never grieved someone that deeply. And oh wow, I just had a whole nother thought about that. Because I grieved my relationships for sure. And I've been grieving actually because of the fact that I am not the same. I am going to protect that very soft, fragile part of me. It's just now I'm not going to hide her. And it's really, really weird because it's like, it's making me uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's so familiar and safe. And it's so strange because the moment I like access that like presence, it becomes like recalibrated and renewed because of me being older and like tapping into that place. My fucking god, my lips are dry as shit right now. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna end it there because that in itself is just like constantly unfolding. I'm still healing a lot, to be completely honest with you guys. Like I don't hook up with people. I practice abstinence, and I've recognized that because of me practicing abstinence for the last almost 5 years now, is it also deprives me of physical contact, which is the literal thing that I got traumatized through, the physical contact. And it's so fucking ironic, bruh. Like, what? I'm literally like, let me end this video. And then I just was like, whoa, like actively experiencing a get that own moment. Get that own moment. God, fucking Korean. Anyways, I just realized, like, an epiphany was that it's because I experienced that trauma that I'm like opening up and realizing like, oh yeah, no, human contact, very important, as much as physical touch. It also can prolong your life. If you have a minimum of 4 to 8 hugs a day, that will prolong your life. So cheers to longevity. So yeah, like I was really recognizing that and making small steps, you know, in my own ways to access that part of me. So I have to honor my experiences from the past as much as like align with how I wish to continue to move forward within this being right now, with all the like realizations, yes, but the wisdom from that. It's not just knowledge, it's wisdom. And there's a difference. And knowledge, I feel like, at least, is just the information, the things that you build up through time. The wisdom is where you take that information and you apply it so you can make different choices. Different choices so that you don't perpetuate the same fucking cycle. That is so big in spirituality, that we are in the matrix. Like, truly, I'm not even gonna go into what made me realize this. But I really like, I've changed so much these past 2 years. I've experienced so much. And even now, like as I'm talking about it, I'm realizing like that's why I really do value and want to value and be grateful even more for this moment where things are mundane and menial or boring. It's just so peaceful. It's actually so peaceful and silent and safe, super safe to be with myself and to explore these things. And it's really cool because I'm about to like do something really big in terms of creative projects, and I'm really going to be challenging my comfort zone, and even just trying to talk about it is making me kind of wanting to cry for some reason. And I'm not gonna intellectualize why I'm gonna fucking cry, but I've been sharing with you guys these past few years, so thank you to everyone who's been watching this whole time, but more specifically these last 2 years, and more intensively this last year. This last year was really intense. Really fucking intense, and it's crazy because I can't even like cry the same way. After Maddie passed away, I literally cannot, or who knows, but like, I mean, I fucking hope not, because holy fuck, that would suck. But it's just not the same. And though it was intense, I truly, that moment in my life was so, wow, was so fragile and very weak, if I'm being honest. And I don't mean that in a deprecating way. I mean that in a literally, physically weak way. I felt so debilitated. It honestly was worse than having my 3 bones broken in my leg and being in bed rest for 6 months. And having to do physical therapy for 6 months and learn how to walk again for longer than 10 minutes. And so, because I'm talking about this, it's so important for me to like be intentional with this piece that I'm about to be a part of. It's just such a, it's like that thing that, I was saying this in my reading, where there's this level of individuality where I'm like, there's no way someone else experienced this before too. But of course, I've met so many people this past year who have been like such a how do you even say that? Like, it's been like a salvation almost. What the fuck? Why can't I like use the proper tense? Salvaging? I felt very saved fuck, from meeting people who were also experiencing the death of Maddie, and yet at the same time, when I went to her celebration of life, I just remember so clearly like everyone talking about her, and I'm just like, wow, I'm so glad that we all experienced her in this way. Because it was quite devastating to experience such a beautiful, warm, fun light for such a short period of time, you know? And for that person to be gone, and then to also honor our connection which was special in its own way. And only I get to know it now. And I wear that experience with honor and respect, because I fucked up in many ways this year. And I mean that in a way where it's like I wasn't being myself. Truly. And it's crazy because it came to the point where I realized that I started to kind of like I guess gaslight myself. I started to gaslight myself because I was like, why the fuck does this have to be so hard for me? And like no one understands around me. Because the way that I felt treated, it just didn't feel like that, you know? That essence of appreciating life and letting people live and being so grateful just to interact and be in the presence of someone because they're alive. And getting to hear their voice and what they have to share, what excites them, and being so... Wow, I just drank my tear. So, like, full of joy just from that, like, something so simple, someone hugging me and saying hi. I had not experienced that consistently for many years. Besides at work, and it was just like work, okay? Like, that's not the same. So I really had to sit the fuck down. I really had to sit the fuck down. Because it made me realize how much I really loved and continue to love. Because that's just what it is. It always is love. And it makes me... tissue. 1 second, you guys. Wow. Oh, how unexpected. How unexpected. I was in no way trying to cry today. But yeah, like, I really had to recognize that I have to honor my experience even if I don't feel understood. And that's something that I actually am willing to deal with, because I truly, like, I truly just, her being, there's nothing I can do. There's literally nothing I can fucking do. Like, I can't do anything. I can't bring her back to fucking life. So those experiences are so precious to me. And yes, though, as time goes by, naturally, I won't be able to recall everything verbatim. But that's not the point. It's the feelings that were evoked from her, through her. And that's what inspired me to really start to value life, especially because it happened right after I came back from Korea and experienced death around me a lot, or a mass amounts of death. And so I'll make an effort, you know. I'm really gonna try. I'm scared, to be honest. Because I really, that feeling, man, of where you just get so vulnerable around someone and it just feels like they could give two shits. That feeling is so... It could be so... like, I think one of the biggest things was I realized, like, I can't even be disappointed in myself for choosing someone who didn't choose me because of the fact that that is a habit and I have to break that habit. And the only way that I can do that is by making a different choice. And I wasn't doing that. So I was like, okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense that I would experience, like, it was like experiencing the grievance of it. And yet, because of that assuredness to, like, be with myself, I ended up kind of being stronger, you know, like when you do something again and again and again, and then eventually the challenge comes or some form of trouble or whatever the fuck, and then you face it and you're able to completely resolve it simply because, not completely, but like resolve it because of the fact that it's different now. Like, my presence is so much different. I'm not gonna fucking abandon myself. I do understand though that that choice was me abandoning myself to a degree. And yes, I can honor my experience. Yes, I can honor my feelings, but I can't allow it to control me. And even with this experience of grieving Maddie's death, like, I spent weeks, bro, just fucking waking up and sleeping. I was not eating. I lost so much weight, and then I got attacked and it just dysregulated the fuck out of me. So I couldn't even hug people for months. I couldn't hug people for months. I couldn't even touch or let people stand close to me or behind me. Oh my God. It's like, yes, I could remain like sensitive, but that just makes me more susceptible to like replaying the same experience. It's not to not be soft. It's not that. It's being vulnerable doesn't mean that you're like unable to still have that strength to stand and support yourself. And that's something that really dawned on me because I didn't experience that growing up. I didn't know what it felt like to express yourself vulnerably and be accepted. Like, there weren't moments like that. Maybe like, I'm trying to, okay, I'm not even gonna look into my mind like that because I definitely know that there's a lot of blank spots because of the fact that I blocked out a lot of the bad memories because it was so bad. And I didn't know how to handle it, obviously, because I was a fucking kid. So that's why, like, I'm really glad that I have these videos because it truly is my history. And only I get to know it. Only I get to experience it, right? But then I share it and I tell you guys and I show you guys what I'm doing because I'm alive. That's it. That's literally fucking it. And the amount of fucking regret I had of not telling her so many things. I remember so many times that I would go into the DM and just be like typing this whole ass thing that like, oh, I just thought of like what you said last time and I thought it was really cool because today blah 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 blah. Didn't even send it because I was like, oh, is that a little too much? Yeah, that's weird. And then not sending it. And then, oh, the fate of right? The hard times are just the hard times, you know what I mean? Like, they're challenging, but they teach me so much about where I'm holding myself back. That's literally the most key thing that I get from all these times that I've been rejected, walked away from, like, even situations where I've been bullied or ostracized, shunned, right? Like, verbally attacked. Like, all these times, all these experiences, all these moments, and yet at the same time, it's like, and yet simultaneously, I myself understand to such a high degree that I'm so fucking human, bruh. I'm so fucking human to make that choice. Of course. if you're so physically attracted to someone, like, of course you're gonna want to talk to them and be around them and know what they're up to, what they're thinking, feeling, like, you know? And yet I couldn't. Oh man, I fucking put. Oh, bruh. Oh, it's just. Anyways, never mind. It's just whatever. But I had to learn. In other words, I had to learn. Now it's time for me to slowly make small steps, very small steps, in a direction that we'll just see how it goes, honestly. Because I'm working with a few friends on this project coming up. I'm not going to say anything about it because we have yet to meet because one of them is still out of town. This project is something that I want to watch unfold as much as contribute to. And my friend was like, I really want to just enjoy the process. And I was like, that's what I'm all about. That's what I'm all about. Because fuck results. Fuck the whole materialistic aspect of it. And also, in due part to that, right? Like, gaining something, achieving something. I finally felt that energy of like, I want to do this. I want to finish this. I want to start, I want to finish. Because growing up, doing things that I didn't want to do affected me in a way where it honestly made me not want to commit to anything. And then, of course, there's the classic situation where I was like super codependent in my relationships and was very committed to them for like, honestly, not the most healthiest decisions. But I don't know where I was going, I forgot. But anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. That is the vlog of today, of right now, because I wanted to share with you guys more and more. It's just been kind of a lot more things happening in terms of my own time and space being valued. So I'm just kind of like practicing those things while also making an effort to kind of put you guys within the whole joy of it all. Because I really do like talking to you guys. I really do like sharing, and I love like just randomly crying and then laughing. I like doing that because it also reminds me like how human it is to cry as much as how strong I've become to allow this moment of vulnerability and not be overwhelmed by my own emotions. Like, that is the biggest thing. Yeah, it might seem kind of like forms of lunacy a little bit, a little loon out here, but hey man, I'm a spiritual practitioner. Call me what you want. Those are just words. It's all about my own frequency, motherfuckers. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for being here. Such a G. If you're seriously watching to the end, dude, like, cheers to you, snaps to you. Sending you fuzz. Fuzz is spirit fingers, which is just like when you resonate with someone or you appreciate them, sending them love, just kind of go like this. It reminds me too of the sign language for an applause, which I love. But yeah. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me this space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Truly. Okay? Thank you for being you. And thank you for being alive, motherfucker. Because holy shit. It's 2025. Let's get this. Bye, guys.